if you look back through what we call history, you'll see this common theme of sacrificing young virgins to the gods all over the world. Well, the gods is code, if you like, for these demonic entities, and young virgins is code for children. They were children that they were sacrificing, and what they do in these satanic rituals is they create the terror of the victim. They build up the terror. It's all systematic. So it reaches a point of absolute terror in the victim as it gets closer to the sacrifice. And these demonic entities, just outside of visible light, but within the frequency range of the emotion of terror that's being, it's an energy which is being generated. They're feeding off that. And then at the point of sacrifice, that terror manifests itself in an adrenaline that enters the bloodstream, a very powerful adrenaline. And the human Satanists, if you like, the people we're talking about, when the child or the adult too is sacrificed, they drink the blood immediately, which has this adrenaline, which gives them some kind of high. I mean, these are the people, Alex, that are running governments all over the world. That's why they're defending this Satanist child abuser, Polanski. They're running the intelligence agencies. They're running the military. They're running the corporations, because that movie by Stanley Kubrick, Eyes Wide Shut, his last movie, and he died very, very soon after the executives of the movie corporation watched it at the first viewing. He died very soon after that.
It's more than that. I remember at the time talking to people involved, and it came out in the news. They made him cut 25 minutes. He refused to cut it. Then he suddenly died.
Yeah.
And then they cut it.
I was going to say that. And we've never seen that film that was cut, and yet even when you look at it, Alex, what was even left in, he was telling the truth about what goes on with the mansion and the rituals, except it was a very mild version of it. And these are the people that are running the world, and it's time they weren't, and the time is coming when they won't, because one thing I'm very, very, very aware of is that there is another force, call it consciousness, call it whatever you like. There's a force that is working to bring an end to this, and that's what is going to prevail. And we're seeing at the moment, a cornered rat or cornered rats, and they're going to, like rats do when you corner them, they're going to be thrashing out in all directions, but that's what it is. It's the death throes. It's going to be very challenging for us, but it's the death throes of this stuff.
And then, I forgot to get you to answer that question, they're threatening to destroy the planet if we try to take control back away from them, or just end the control. Even if you don't believe in Satanism and this Luciferian bloodletting, that's what all the elites are into. In their own words, not mine. There's an old adage. The devil's greatest trick was convincing the world he didn't exist. And that's why psychopaths are able to pick up young women and children. That's why dictators are able to rise to power. That's how this Michael Hilton con artist could go take over the town in Hardin, Montana. Because people don't want to admit they're being conned or that other people are taking advantage of them. Final segment with David Icke. I want to make this point, though. Just from a anthropology view, or from the angle of archaeology, I don't claim to be a historian, but I have made a wide study of history. It's so huge, no one can even be an expert really in one area, in my opinion. It's so lengthy in the different interpretations of history. But whether it was the Babylonians, or whether it was the Romans, or whether it was the Greeks, or whether it was many of the Middle Eastern tribes, Asian tribes, African tribes, Mesoamerican tribes, the Aztecs, they all had high priests who all followed the same secret mathematics religion. They all worshiped the same snake god, and they all demanded women, children, and men, normally the most beautiful, the most healthy, to be sacrificed, and the Aztecs particularly believed great pain had to be created. Now, even the elites there, not just children having their hearts cut out and then cut up into meat, that's how the priests funded themselves, was the sale of the number one meat that was consumed, human flesh, in all of the Mayan kingdoms, but particularly the most aberrant, the Aztecs, the most extreme, that they would take long pieces of rope with glass through their tongues and through their genitals to create hallucinations of pain while taking hallucinogens. And you see that in all these different cultures, believing that they had to feed the snake god with the blood. And so even if you don't believe in God, the devil, two different forces, any of this, the point is, Tony Blair, his wife, I mean, they admit Blair went all over the world, Francois Mitterrand, all of them, to be possessed by the spirit of white light. He would hit the ground every morning, flop around, that's mainstream news. The bushes and skull and bones in big pits of feces and urine, being reborn in homosexual orgies. Someone dresses the devil with a crown, brings them into nights in Satan's service. This is admitted. And so you need to understand this is real. Even if you're an atheist and don't believe in anything outside the limited senses you have, and you don't believe in the sixth senses or any things that have been proven in university studies, you must know that the most aberrant, the most destructive have created a kingdom of psychopathic delight to trample on and be trampled on, to press on the nerves of power, to humiliate innocence and beauty. Because to them, the psychopath describes being in a cold, horrible, depressed place until they're torturing a child, until they're torturing a woman. Then it's like a blazing light. I've had the top psychiatrist on who've interviewed hundreds of killers. And it's all the same. They are alive when they've got a woman chained down, biting chunks out of her. They're alive. Hitler was only happy. He would go to the front and watch through high-powered binoculars burning cities and could stay up for days on end without drugs or coffee, just loving the death and the burning and the black uniforms and the armored vehicles. This is the spirit of the New World Order. It is death, and it seeks to kill. David Icke, the elite have stated openly, and we have this in my film Endgame, that they will destroy the planet before they let true humanity bloom. Where do you see that going?
Wishful thinking. There's a lot of wishful thinking going on within their cabal, because compared with consciousness in its true state, compared with the infinite consciousness that is all that is and we are part of, and we are, they are a fly on an elephant's back. They have a massively inflated opinion of their own power because they are completely, exactly as you've just described, for the reasons you've just described, they are absolutely disconnected from higher levels of awareness and consciousness. They are in a tiny box themselves. They've only been able to control us because they've manipulated us into a smaller box of awareness than they're in. And when we awaken, this is why they're terrified of it, we just blow the fly off the elephant's back when we're in our true power. And this vibrational change, this consciousness shift, this consciousness awakening that's coming, they're going to get blown away by it eventually in a few years from now, because they don't have the power they think they have, because they're in a bubble, therefore they don't know the picture either. They don't know the big picture. They can't access at that level that's got the big picture. And the big picture is what is now manifesting itself through more and more and more people, and the big picture is going to bring this down. There's many people I would like to be for the next little part of our existence, and every single one in the control system is top of that list. I really wouldn't like to be them when they realize the true nature of what's actually going on. That's
right. They punish themselves when they realize that they're damming themselves off from the universe. We don't punish them. The Creator doesn't punish them. What happens to them, David Icke, as the shift occurs?
Well, I could talk about this at some considerable length, but they are connected vibrationally. They're connected to the control construct. It's a vibrational construct, and they're connected to it. They're part of it. And when that comes down, well, they're out of here. They're out of here. They're not going to be here anymore.
But you say the elites don't know that. In all their fairy tales, in all their archetypes, when the evil wizard loses his orb, the whole palace collapses on him.
Yes, because, you know, it's a vibrational construct. You could symbolize it in your mind as a vibrational box, and they are attached to it. They're part of it. They're an expression of it. So when the box comes down, when that vibrational construct is unpicked and just falls, they fall and go with it. At the physical level, these guys are going out of existence because obviously, as consciousness, higher levels of themselves that they're completely disconnected from, that continues to exist because we are all eternal consciousness. But that level of them that has become isolated in this reality to the point where they're completely disconnected from the true level of who they are, that's going when this change takes place.
I want to throw out a few other points, just getting back to the lay of the ground, the topography here in the third dimension. David Icke, they are now, there's no doubt the awakening's happening, and we're always saying it's happening, but now it's exponential in whole magnitudes of level. So is their tyranny. Obama being announced the Peace Prize for torture and expanding wars, throwing it in our face, saying this is what we honor, a sick joke. Handing the internet fully over to ICANN and the UN 2 weeks ago. Open announcements of the end of the dollar. Open announcements of world government. They're moving on every front. There is no doubt that they are attempting to make their final move. Why are they doing this at this time?
Well, they're doing this, as I said earlier, because the inner core know and have known for a long time that this period was coming when this vibrational energetic cycle, it's a natural cycle, it was going to start to get people to break out of their mind prisons. And so they have thrown everything they can, and there's more to come, obviously,